people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
And it's the truth. I risk my life for you's entertainment to see.
No, absolutely.
So why I ain't never lied about none in this business. But, you can believe what? Why is it so hard to believe a black man than a white man? Understand me? Why is it so hard to believe a black man than a white man?
Why you don't believe it?
Why is it?
Let me answer the question.
Yeah, go on.
So we gonna go there.
First and foremost, it's got nothing to do with color.
No, it does. This whole country got something. This whole world got something to do with race. You think you pan out? You think you have a? You think you done had a great life? You think your life has been like mine?
Listen,
come on, you got white privilege, brother.
Oh, don't start.
I ain't never had that.
Don't start
I'm a black man with dark skin. Ain't nothing ever been given to me. I done had to kick in every opportunity that I've had. That's what it is. Y'all don't understand. Maybe y'all don't talk about this shit in this country.
Yes, we do, mate.
But when you get me in here, I speak the peace. I speak the truth.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you.
Yeah, go on.
If this is about color,
y'all got the wrong person.
Yeah, go on.
If he's about color,
y'all understand that.
How is Derek Chisora then, out of curiosity, given he's a black man? A national treasure in this country then. It's not about colour. You called somebody a cheat. I asked you a question.
Come on. You have a whole lot of black people around this question.
Wilder's method of deflecting from an uncomfortable question. Simon asks him about Tyson Fury cheating allegations, and he defers to making it about race. Why doesn't Simon believe him?
Why is he supposed to?
My previous video, we talked about the differences between content creators being the ones that ask the questions as opposed to actual pundits, actual journalists. Here, we'll focus on Deontay Wilder using race as a deflection, a distraction. He's trying to make it seem like the only reason that Simon doesn't believe him is because he's a black man. He's doing the Farrakhan thing.
Simon's not supposed to ask him any follow-up questions about all the things he said after the fight, all the people that he blamed.
Can't do it, because if he does, well, he must be a bigot. He must be a racist. The only reason he's questioning Wilder is because of the color of his skin.
Is that it?
Into it with each other because we have PTSD. We done been through so much so much
Come on, man.
It's hard to move on when you don't know the truth, and that's when I come in and try to give you a vision, a little insight of what we go through as black people, man.
I got it.
You don't get it.
Well, okay.
None of y'all get it.
Claiming that Simon doesn't know the truth, but when he asks him about it, he gets upset.
What's the truth?
The truth is that Wilder in this situation is boxing's equivalent of Jussie Smollett. Wants to make himself out to be a victim when in reality, all 3 times that he fought Tyson Fury, it's because he's the one pursued it.
You never had to fight that guy.
Hell, in between the first fight and the second fight, you were offered $100 million to box Anthony Joshua for undisputed, for more money than you stood to make with Fury. And the only reason we know that is because you said it.
You told us.
So what are you supposed to be the victim of?
3 days ago, he called it white supremacy.
That sit-down interview thing he did with Derek Chisora, claiming that he's got proof that Tyson Fury cheated, that Tyson Fury was only given the victory because of white supremacy.
You only seeing what you saw. He didn't win nothing. They gave it to him. I can't think about the third one, but the 2 of them, he definitely cheated. I got proof and evidence of that. When I do my documentary and my movie about it, it's gonna be presented. I'm gonna bring the peoples and the artifacts and everything I know. And I want that. I can't wait on it, because being a black man with dark skin is harder to believe me than to believe a white man. And then that first fight, the referee, that's white supremacy.
This guy's gotta be joking doing the Farrakhan thing after all these years when he's the one literally fired every black member of his staff. He left Al Heyman, He fired Mark Breland, got rid of Malik Scott.
Kept all the white guys, though.
JD's still had a job. Shelly Finkel still has a job. So he can sit up here now doing the Farrakhan thing.
Spare me.
It's not believing Tyson Fury. There are a good number of people out there who don't have a high opinion of Tyson Fury. It's the inconsistencies in your story. It's that you fly off the handle as soon as you're asked a few follow-up questions. Many times as you keep bringing this up, you clearly want people to believe that he cheated, and you say that you've got proof. All they're asking you to do is prove it, because in the 5 years that it followed that second fight, you still haven't.
And they're not just going to believe you because of your sob story, because you keep harping about the color of your skin. What does that have to do with anything? Every time you fought this guy, you're the one pursued it.
You didn't have to.
It wasn't white supremacy that got Tyson Fury a title shot. It was you. You who literally kept the black fighter waiting in limbo.
Remember Dillian White? Remember when he was ranked at number 1? And remember when Deontay wouldn't fight him willingly?
Literally kept him waiting in limbo, but Tyson Fury, oh yeah, you'll fast-track him to a title shot. So that when it goes sideways, you can start harping about white supremacy. Give me a break.
The entire resurgence of Tyson Fury was predicated on you giving him an opportunity he didn't earn.
So if what happened after that is white supremacy, that would make you the white supremacist. Because you's the one oppressed the black guy to give an opportunity to the white guy.
Weaponizing such an egregious accusation is in poor taste, but if you've been on the internet long enough, you'll see this is a common practice. You're losing the argument.
Make it about race, so you can make it taboo, so that you can elicit silence.
If you make it awkward enough, thinking that you won't be challenged in doing so. Sorry to tell you, buddy, but this is not a civil rights issue. You versus Tyson Fury isn't some proverbial march on Selma. That was just you looking for the low-hanging fruit and having it blow up in your face.
As you saw the guys all fat and coked up, quasi-retired, you thought it was gonna be easy. It's the only reason you fought him.
Turns out that it wasn't. Now Deontay Wilder is threatening to expose the truth with his documentary, but I can almost guarantee you there's nothing in there.
Nothing of substance, because if all these years Deontay Wilder was sitting on concrete evidence of cheating, of foul play, he would have produced it by now. Got the decision overturned, got his WBC title back, perhaps would have been awarded damages from Tyson Fury, a portion of his purse, something.
In the subsequent 5 years that it followed that second fight, nothing has happened except the third fight, which Wilder also lost. So what's the documentary gonna do except iterate the same ramblings, the same things you've been saying?
You're not the victim of anything that you didn't bring on yourself. Like I said, this is boxing's equivalent of Jussie Smollett, pretty much.
Why Wilder's crashing out, having a tantrum on foreign soil, is because this shtick doesn't go over as well on foreign soil as it does in America.
In America, they eat it up.
So you're not used to follow-up questions about what you're saying. You're not used to being challenged. Content creators trying to get interviews with Deontay Wilder, he's got him wrapped around his finger. They're only going to ask him softball questions.
Skip out on the hard ones.
But this is what it's like when boxing is covered by actual journalists. People that are actually trying to get to the truth instead of just monetizing their next upload. As it pertains to the fight that Deontay Wilder is about to have and who's supposed to be training him for it, Deontay Wilder's trainer for Derek Chisora fight revealed. Deontay Wilder is set to face Derek Chisora on the 4th of April. All numbers involved in the fight favor Wilder. He is 6'7" to Chisora, who's 6'1". His reach is 83 inches to Chisora's 74. His record is 44-4 with one draw to Chisora's 36-13. And he is 40 years old to Chisora's 42. Yet it is Chisora who is the betting favorite. And a large part of why that may be is probably because he's been on the better run of form, being 4-2 in his last 6 fights and putting together 3 consecutive wins in his last 3 appearances.
Whereas Wilder was only able to scrape a win by scraping the bottom of the barrel in Tyrell Herndon, who he fought last year in Wichita, Kansas.
Generally looked like the one with more to prove of the two. Boxing King Media spoke to Shelly Finkel, Deontay Wilder's longtime manager, who has stated exclusively that Wilder's trainer for the Chisora fight will be Don House. Upon being asked If there was any consideration to return to Mark Breland, Wilder's former trainer, Finkel answered in the negative. Don House has trained multiple big names over the years, with Chico Corrales and Kevin Kelly, both having trained under him, but more relevant is House being the former trainer of Bermane Stiverne, who Deontay Wilder boxed 2 times.
Why do you think he got rid of Malik Scott?
Malik's boxing philosophy is not parallel to Wilder's. Wilder's the guy who said, in the heavyweight division, he doesn't need skill because he has power, whereas Malik is big on the X's and O's of boxing, the science of boxing.
Wilder's never been about that, and he's getting too long in the tooth to try and teach an old dog new tricks.
Short time that Wilder was being trained by his buddy Malik, Malik was trying to whip him into shape as a boxer. Add the fundamentals that he's never had, but by then, he's already settled into his bad habits. His identity as a boxer. For Wilder, it probably felt awkward working on all that stuff. So now, I guess he wants to go back to something more natural, something more organic. So he's going to Don House.
He's gonna go back to waiting for the opportunity to land the big right hand.
Wilder has the physique of a far more athletic and coordinated fighter than he actually is, because what he's got is 2 left feet, a poor engine,
Poor punch variety.
poor defense. I've long maintained Wilder is a one-trick pony. Once you figure out what that trick is,
The jig is up.
the Bronze Bomber will be hoping that Don House will be able to reignite the old fuse against the rough and ready rock and roller Chisora, and if he can, fans are in for something very explosive indeed. This fight is being promoted by Misfits Pro.
Misfits, the promotion that was started by social media influencer KSI. They started off with social media influencers fighting each other. Now they're delving into the world of pro boxing, doing pro boxing matches. So this is a big deal for them.
And a good bit of fun for us, a guilty pleasure. We all know that Wilder's past it, and so is Derek. But sometimes, those are the fights that deliver the most. The ones where the guys, maybe they're not on the up and up. Maybe they've got a lot of flaws. Maybe they're prone to throwing caution to the wind. So that if you put 2 guys in the same ring like that with each other, you end up with a barn burner.
I'm actually looking forward to this.
But I did overhear earlier this week that they're going to bill it as a pay-per-view. And while it might make some sense to bill it as a pay-per-view in the UK, not in the USA, not in the afternoon, not for an American audience that isn't all that big on Derek Chisora and has since cooled off on Deontay Wilder, an American audience that pays more for boxing than anybody in the industry.
in any other market around the world.
But of course, DAZN has to justify what's supposed to be their ultimate tier and what subscribers are actually getting for their money.
They'll bill this as a pay-per-view, then tell you, if you subscribe to their ultimate tier, which still costs you extra, you save.
It's all bullshit. You're just putting more of your content behind a paywall.
You're charging more often. That's all that is.
As far as the fight itself, the bookies, the odds makers, the fans, they all favor Derek to win the fight on the premise that Derek can fight the exact same fight that Joseph Parker fought when he fought Wilder, when he beat him, but Derek's better at it. That's Derek's forte. Barreling forward, applying pressure, big looping shots over the top. He's going to back up Wilder. He's going to bully Wilder.
Feel so inclined to agree. Most have Derek winning the fight, but what if Wilder wins? What happens after that?
Almost definitely, long as he's still in the business, I'm still in the business, then, we're going to meet each other and make business happen, I feel that with anyone in the division, especially in the heavyweight division where it's the smallest division of all divisions, with us, we can fight 3, 4, 5 times, with each other. We can really cycle each other. So, long as he's in there, his mind's right, mine's as well, it will happen. I truly believe that, and if it doesn't, then that's a damn shame.
Is a win over Derek Chisora in a fight that Wilder is favored to lose enough to revitalize Anthony Joshua talks? I think that it would take a little more than that. He wouldn't be that far off. Maybe a fight with Dillian White afterwards, because he's got history with Dillian too. 2 fights in the United Kingdom to get the Brits involved, who are quicker to shell out their money for a fight than the Americans are right now.
Both Deontay and Derek seem very happy with their Misfits contracts. Deontay is just now capitalizing on something I've been saying he should capitalize on for years, and that's the British market. Making the decision to fight over there in front of that audience, whether he's aware of it or not, endears him to those fans, that he's willing to travel. It worked for Alexander Usyk, who's fought there a good number of times against their fighters. It worked for Usyk. It can work for him. If he does beat Derek Chisora, I would recommend he fight Dillian White after that. Settle that unfinished business. Maybe then talks for Anthony Joshua might be revitalized. It would require something from Wilder, but it would also require something from Anthony too. It's not one way. They're still in the process of rehabilitating that guy, not just from his loss to Daniel Dubois, but the horrific car accident that he survived earlier this year. It's looking more and more like Anthony is going to fight on. He's not going to retire on a somber note. The focus seems to be getting him in the ring with Tyson Fury. A Wilder fight could theoretically happen before that. It could happen after that. But it is something that can happen. And it would require Anthony, like Wilder, to show that he's still got it. People have been waiting for this fight. And even if it's not everything now that it used to be, it has been built up enough that you don't need for there to be belts on the line when it comes to those two fighters, Anthony and Wilder, like Anthony and Fury. Because it's not about belts anymore. It stopped being about that a long time ago. I can see the value in Deontay Wilder's resurgence. I can see the value in him fighting on. It doesn't have to be about alphabet titles at this point. There are any good number of fights to make for Wilder if he can beat Derek. The problem is, most people don't have him beating Derek. Wilder's one trick. Wilder's only really ever had the straight right hand. It's his best weapon. It's really his only weapon. And I think it's going to be hard to land that straight right hand against a noticeably shorter fighter that regularly hunkers down, fighting at a slight crouch, tucked behind a midguard, throwing looping shots over the top. When Wilder's reflexes are not what they used to be. He doesn't have the same snap on his punches that he used to. He's 40 years old now, undergone several surgeries, lost several times. And what hinders him from even throwing that right hand is a fighter who's willing to barrel forward, a fighter who's willing to crowd him, put him on his back foot. Wilder's not coordinated. He's got very poor balance. He doesn't know how to keep space and maintain distance to get a clear shot at the target before he lets the right hand go. If there's too much going on, he's like a deer in the headlights. It'll be the Parker fight all over again. So even if I can think of 2 or 3 good fights for Wilder in the twilight years of his career, he's got to make it past Derek. And I'm not convinced that he will. The only hope for Deontay Wilder, and whatever remaining supporters he has in this situation, is that all of this Tyson Fury talk will have lit a fire under his ass to make him angry again, to make him vicious again, hot in the collar and ready to hurt somebody, to put him in the right frame of mind ahead of this fight. But at the very most, all that gives him is a puncher's chance, because stylistically, Derek's style don't do his no favors.